Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. I don't say this so much, but thank you guys so much for the support. It's been amazing, the journey that we've been on with this podcast and how many lives that we're changing. I know you guys don't get to see it all. We recently started a Facebook group which you guys can join where you can really just link up with other supporters. But there's so many private messages that I get just from people, not just in trading, but in life, being motivated by what we're doing here. So it's awesome that you guys are supporting. It's awesome that you guys are sharing. And it's awesome that you guys are asking the questions and leaving the comments that allow me to create content for this podcast. I'm excited about the next year, but we still got some awesome episodes coming this year as well. Speaking of awesome episodes, today I've got an awesome accountability session to share with you. If you guys are new to the show, accountability sessions are something that we do every Friday on the Tier 1 trading platform, where we encourage our traders to reach out, share their story, and talk about their goals. And it's an awesome session because not only is it an icebreaker, you kind of, you get up there and introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Scott. Hi, Scott, right? All of that fun stuff. But you get to lay out your goals. We get to work with you in achieving those goals. And it really holds yourself accountable because you're on the record saying you're going to do this and that. But also, the other members of the Tier 1 trading platform know what your goals are, and they're going to help hold you accountable as well. And I'll tell you what, when you have that little bit of pressure of someone else looking over your shoulder, it's just the motivation that you need to do what you're supposed to do. So today's interview is pretty awesome. It's a trader who got into trading really because for a similar reason that I did. My dad always encouraged me to take the next level of investment, right? Starting at like bank accounts, then money markets, then certificates of deposit, all that fun stuff. This trader said that his dad always taught him that he should divide his money into three ways. And one of those three ways happened to be investing. And of course, it wasn't a get-rich-quick story. This trader has gone through the ups and downs, right? He started off by just wanting to know what he can do with his money aside and put it into the bank. He went down the path of finding a magic indicator, which ended up not being so magical. He also tried the shortcut of taking or following a signal service, which ended up bad as well. And of course, at the end of the day, he ended up making $12K in 5 days, finally found that get-rich-quick scheme, only to blow it all a few weeks later. And that was kind of the turning point that changed his mindset, along with finding a video from Jason Grayson online about what the reality of trading actually is. And now that he's got his head on straight, now that he knows what it takes to be successful, he's on his path to doing so, and he's going to explain exactly how he's doing that in this interview. So check it out. If you haven't done so already, leave me a review and a rating, especially on iTunes, and then make sure you share this with a friend. All right, here we go.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started, guys. The first person we have on today is Stefan, and he is here to do his accountability session. Is this your first one, Stefan, or is this a consecutive one?
No, it's my first, actually.
It's your first, okay.
We're in May this year, I think, so this is the first time I'm on.
In May? All right, very good. Very good. So then just kind of start off with, name, kind of who you are, what you maybe do for a living, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yes, of course. Well, my name is Stefan. I am living in the Netherlands, in a place called Leiden, actually, which is, I think, about 30 minutes away from Gabriel. So,
cool.
I work full time as an occupational psychologist. I've studied psychology for 4 years.
Okay.
And I specialize myself in work and organization psychology. Actually, it's called occupational health, which mainly deals with advising organizations to increase employee happiness, employability, and stuff like that. I'm not your typical therapist kind of guy. I don't know what to do when someone has a mental problem. So please don't come to me with that. anything work related, work and employee related, I can do it. I have a girlfriend for over 9 years now. We're living together, but we're not married. And I like to sport. I do several sports. I go to the gym like a few times a week. I like snowboarding. I've taken up kite surfing last year, so I'm trying to learn that right now. And I've done many other sports in the past as well.
Very cool. Very nice. Awesome. All kinds of stuff going on there. I'm sure we'll get into a bit more of that.
Yeah.
Well, what got you into trading, and like originally or initially? What was kind of what piqued your interest, or why did you kind of get started?
Yeah, long story there. I came across trading, I think almost 2 years ago now. It's around December 2017. I was looking for ways what can I do with my money besides getting it in a bank. And my father-in-law always said you have to divide your money into three ways: 1/3 into real estate, 1/3 on a bank, and 1/3 into investments. And I was like, okay, I should really look into that investment kind of part because I really don't have any economic background or whatsoever. So I didn't really know anything about it. And then I came across some Dutch auction site. Maybe you know it, Gabriel. It's called Vakantie. And there was actually a investment course on it for 1 day. And I was like, well, sure. It was not expensive. Actually, I actually won it for €1.
Huh?
Maybe that should be the point where I was thinking this cannot be right, but whatever. So we went there. It was 1 day, and they tried to teach you the basics of investing. I was actually looking for a longer term investment, so the buy and hold kind.
Okay.
But it was more the short and aggressive kind of trading. And it was 1 day. We had a free lunch, which was great. And it was actually not. They tried to teach us that in general what trading is and what sort of things you can trade, like stocks, of course, Forex a little bit as well. There were crypto as well. And afterwards we tried it. I think they were a broker, a Dutch broker. I think I didn't realize it at the time, but it was more like some sort of advertisement course instead of really trying to teach you how to trade.
Of course.
So I fell right for that. So we tried it. It was right at the time when Bitcoin had its highest peak. It was around 20K, I think. And it started to fall down. And I was shorting the Bitcoin, which was, well, a good thing.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Sometimes there's happy accidents.
even though I shorted it, I still lost money because I kept on shorting it. And of course, sometimes it goes up as well. So I lost money. And I thought it was fun. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was gambling big time, actually. So I went to a friend. He was enthusiastic about it as well, and we tried it for I think 1 or 2 months. We didn't know what we were doing. Then we find this magic thing called an indicator, and it was supposed to tell you what the market was going to do. And we were like, yes, that's it. We should try this.
You found the Holy Grail.
Yeah, this is the Holy Grail. You just follow that indicator, and money will come to you. Well, it didn't. And we lost some more. And then I thought, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just quit trading, and this is not for me.
So you obviously didn't quit. So what happened?
Yeah, I didn't quit. So I quit for a while, and then it was around next year, December, actually 2018, when I found some video on YouTube with a guy who I think we've all seen that kind of videos, who won a lot of money. He was running a signal service. And I was like, okay, I don't have to learn how to trade. If this person knows how to trade, I can just follow him. And that's also when I realized that trading is not just gambling. It's actually a skill that is teachable. And that got me motivated on wanting to learn myself. So at first I had this signal service, and I was doing that in the months December, January, maybe February also. But at the beginning of January, something, quite important happened. Not in a good way, actually. Well, I made like 12K in 5 days being lucky. And that changed my mindset. It changed my mindset in the wrong way, in things like, okay, this is really possible. I can really make this much money in such a short time. And that is not the mindset that you want to have if you want to learn how to trade. So of course I lost all that money in the few weeks that came after that.
Sounds all too familiar. I'm sure everyone else can relate.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've heard many people tell that as well. But I was highly motivated to learn how to trade, but also to recover the money lost, and that is where it went. That's where, but that mindset, of course, not a good mindset to have.
No, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I realized you have the four stages of competence, the unconscious incompetent state or the conscious incompetent state, etc. And I believe I was at the conscious incompetent state. I still think I am, but yeah, I continued to trade, and that actually got me further down the road. And
you said you joined us in May of this year, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. When did you find Tier 1 then on that journey?
I think it was in March. I stumbled upon one of Jason's videos, and it was really an eye opener for me because he was looking at trading from a whole different perspective. It's different from the other 95% of the internet, and he actually tells people that it is going to take time and it is going to require a lot of effort and time in order to become consistently profitable.
You mean good things take work? That cannot be.
Yeah. I'm all for that. I don't mind putting in the effort and taking time in order to accomplish some goals. So in that kind of way, I have a good mindset to learn how to trade. It was just that I wasn't there for the 100%.
Well, you got to start somewhere, and at some point you have some realizations along the way about what's happening to you and how it's going. And some people that takes far longer or far too long and they have no money left. For others it's very quick. They realize, nope, I don't know what I'm doing. I still believe in this, so there's got to be someone out there who does. And some people it goes on forever. I've mentioned this before. I've had people who I have talked to in the past, they've lost 100K, they have no more money left, they've lost everything, their house, whatever. And it's just like, did you ever think that maybe you should stop? So that process is really different. It can be different for everyone. Obviously, the faster that you come to the realization that, you're consciously incompetent, you realize you don't actually know what you're doing, and you're going to go seek help from hopefully someone who's, legitimate. The faster that can happen, the better. So for everyone here who's, I don't know what stage everyone's at exactly in their journey or membership, but that's an important process, is to realize when you've got issues or problems that you need to fix, or you're kind of coming about something the wrong way, and then realizing that and then taking action in the right direction. So I just wanted to say that because that's a really good kind of underlying point that you made about your process, is that, it didn't take too long for you to realize, hey, I'm not doing this right. I believe in it, but I have to go find out how to do it the right way.
Exactly. It didn't take that much time before I realized that the steps I had to take in order to become consistently profitable. However, knowing something and doing something are two different things.
Of course, yeah. There's always
it is for me.
Practical application part is it's hard, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, it is hard. And although I knew what I had to do, I didn't do it. I continued to trade even when I became a member of Tier 1 Trading. And that actually got me into some debt as well. I already had some debt because I have a student loan.
Sure.
I have been studying for a long time, for over 8 years. I finished two educations. I got 2 degrees. So I actually started working quite late. And I think that's one of the reasons why I had a hard time to stop how to trade, because I was feeling some kind of incongruity as to where I am in life in comparison to where I think I should be. I'm 32 now, and I would like my life to be like a little bit different than the way it is right now. Maybe I should have some money for backing up. Maybe I want to get married. Maybe I want to do some other stuff. But I'm not there. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I thought trading was just a way to make some quick bucks,
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time, it was I think maybe 2 months ago actually when I really stopped trading. So it's only been 2 months ago.
Okay.
It was really I was really in a bad situation. I told my girlfriend about the money I lost actually.
Mm-hmm.
I told my parents as well, and I really wanted to get myself accountable in order to not let this happen again.
Right. And how do you feel now that you've done that? As far as like pressure or weights lifted for you, so you can focus on actually doing this.
It's better now.
I'm sure it was hard. I've been there.
It was very hard. I actually sent Akil an email back then asking for some sort of advice.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually turned it into a podcast. So I think it's episode 204.
Oh, okay.
Gabrielle told me that some traders sent him an email, and well, that's me. I'm not ashamed to tell people that. Now, this is just my story, and this is what happened to me, and maybe it happened to other people as well. But I think my mindset is a lot better right now, since I'm not trading anymore, and I know what I have to do in order to recover from my debts. Trading live is something that will not happen quite soon for me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's really, if I could just say that, I mean, that's a really important process that you went through. I mean, obviously the first part was, like we said, you recognize that you were not doing this right, so you need to, change, or, the things that you're doing were not working. But then there's another point, like you said, you talked about the goals that you wanted or had for your life, and that it hadn't happened yet. And that, you had some debt and things like that, and you kind of seek out trading as maybe maybe I can make some quicker money. And I think that there was a really important process that happened for you through all of that, which was, okay, you realized that, well, I can't make money like that. That's not reliable. It's dangerous. It's gambling. So there was that. And then there were the other things that you dealt with within your own life and kind of what you wanted your life to be. And I think the important part here is that you said what happened. You told people that you cared about it. And now you're on a different path, right? At least I would assume so. This is what it sounds like to me, is that you've kind of changed from that. And now you're on a track where you're going to then now do things that are going to help you reach the goals that you have, in your life and for yourself, and obviously for achieving trading. And so I think that's for me, that's like a highlight point about what you said is making a change and realization in your life, and then changing the direction of your actions to suit the goals that you have.
Yeah, I think the realization about of what I had to do became maybe at the beginning of March, April. I don't know, somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm.
But actually steps, actually stopping to trade and getting the mindset right took a longer time.
Yeah.
But I definitely learned from that. And I'm always an optimistic kind of person. I'm optimistic and I'm dedicated. So I believe almost anything is possible with the right motivation and the right effort.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's for me that I've had some experiences like that in the past as well. When I was still studying, I was working at a gym, and there was this coffee distributor, and he told me that I wasn't steaming the milk properly to make a cappuccino or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me how to do it, and then he poured one of those little hearts in the cappuccino. And I was like, hey, that looks fancy. I want to learn how to do that. And he gave me some sort of flyer which stated 3 steps to make a heart into a cappuccino. And I really liked it. And at that point in time, I wanted to learn more about it. So I was actually reading a lot of books. I was watching tons of YouTube videos on how to pour different kind of figures into the cappuccino.
Cool.
There was nobody that I knew who could teach me how to do it. So everything took a lot longer than maybe with some other people. I even bought one of those big espresso machines that you see.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was insane. I was so dedicated. And in the end, I could even join the Dutch championships. So I was ready to do that, and then unfortunately I broke my wrist.
Oh no!
So that was kind of a bummer. And after that, I went abroad to start another education, my psychology education actually. So it kind of stopped there.
Right.
But I can be quite dedicated if I'm interested in something.
Sure. I think and some of the things that you just said there, I think were really important for everyone who's listening, whenever you're watching this, whoever and whenever, is that, you saw you were practicing something, a skill. Then in this case, it was making cappuccino, and you realize, oh man, your mentor, in this case, your boss, said, hey, you're not doing the milk right, and you might watch a YouTube video about trading and someone says such and such, or we might say something and say, oh, I'm not doing that right. I'm not reading a price chart right. And some of those realizations happen because you see someone else do something, like through demonstration. That's a very common one, especially with trading or anything else, is you see someone demonstrate something and you say, oops, I'm not doing that right. Maybe I can do better. And then the next step that you took was obviously the whole, making designs in cappuccino is pretty unique. But the point is that you sought out, you asked your boss, he gave you something, you sought out information, ways in which to do the thing better from someone who already can do the thing better than you. And I think that's really important for trading. And the most important thing, obviously, is to pick people who are, as we've always said, say this is hard, it's going to take work, it's going to take effort, so you don't get scammed. But to go to people who are demonstrating what you want to do, and then seek it out. And everyone who's here now has done that, to be as Billy's being a member here. But I think that's an important thing, is when you realize that, hey, this is broken, that's broken, something's not right. Okay, now who can help me fix it? Who knows how to do this? And how can I get in touch with them, or how can I work with them? How can I then learn those skills and then change? So I think that's a huge, that was just coffee, I know, but it's applicable to anything, especially trading. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. I thought that was a very important process to bring up.
It's exactly that, and that's how you can transfer that to trading as well. At least I do for myself, to keep myself optimistic. Although I lost a lot of money, and although I have disappointed maybe some people, I still know that if you want something really, really bad, it will happen if you put in the time and the effort.
Right, absolutely.
So that's one of the ways I stay optimistic, because this year hasn't been that easy financially.
Sure, yeah. So where are you at now, I guess, with like the goals that you have, maybe in the training or what you're up to with trading currently? What's your current goals that you have, or things that you want to accomplish or learn at the moment?
Well, when looking back at 2019, I've already accomplished a lot, actually. So maybe I want to elaborate a little bit about that before going on to my goals for this year and maybe the years to come.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
First.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Sure. So I've one of the ways for me to stay optimistic is to look back and see, although this has happened, and although you've had some setbacks, I've also learned an incredibly lot of knowledge and skill.
Mm-hmm.
I know more about trading than I ever did.
Yeah.
I've read lots of books. I subscribe to Jason's newsletter and listen to his podcast, and with Akil's. Of course, I joined Tier 1 Trading in May, which is quite good. I wanted to take trading seriously. I've now gone through the whole course once, though it was kind of fast the first time.
Okay.
I did take notes. I was very thorough in my listening, my writing through the course. But still, it was still too fast. I tried back testing for a little bit. I had lots of questions, and so I'm doing the course again.
Good.
For the second time.
That's good.
There's some new content as well. The foundation course 2.0.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it slow, and I think it's very important, like you guys always say, process over outcome. I was very focused on the outcome, and it was, of course, making money and maybe turning your life around, something like that. But now I only think that my short-term goal is what I look at, and my long-term goals that will happen eventually. So I take it step by step, and right now that is going through the course once more. Taking the time and learning as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Setting, having the outcome goals, or the lofty goals that everyone has. There's got to be little goals along the way that you've got to achieve, or quote unquote tasks, things you've got to do to get to that point. Unfortunately, like as we know, and as we've just discussed this whole time, there's always a rush to try and get to the end and to get to the end result, rather than embracing the process and setting the micro goals to get to your macro goals, to the ones that are really going to change your life around. Like as the old saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. We don't just aren't born to and then start running. We walk, we crawl, we do all these other things that lead up to the kind of usable abilities and skills that we have that enable us to do important things in our life, whether that's something as simple as walking, reading, anything. And when we get to a point where, obviously all those skills are behind us, we use them on autopilot. When we learn new things, nothing's changed. Unfortunately, it's always hard to not want to skip to the end, but we still have to go through a process and things to get to the end result and skills.
It's also a big motivator if you divide a big goal into multiple short goals.
Absolutely.
Because when you achieve those goals, you feel motivated.
Yeah, for sure. You get that feedback. Oh, I accomplished this. Oh, I accomplished that. Hey, that's on track towards my whatever big goal. And then it also doesn't feel so daunting. Like, how am I ever going to do big goal? That whatever that thing is. It's like, oh, well, what if I just split it up into these little things I've got to do? Oh, that doesn't sound so bad. Just like you do a project for school back in the day or whatever, you kind of break it up into sections and things that you've got to complete. You don't just go out there and finish the project all at once. Probably you've got to split it up and take your time.
Yeah, you should plan it and you should divide it into smaller goals, of course. Indeed. Yeah, it's also what you guys, and also I think Jason said it as well. He's I think maybe you do it as well, but Akil and Jason they plan their entire year. They set some goals, and I've done it as well.
Good.
I've done it for this year, although it's almost ended, of course. But especially also for next year. So I take like maybe 4 big goals and split them up into smaller goals.
Awesome.
In order to achieve more. So it's actually since I've been joining Tier 1 trading, I've actually have a different mindset as well. I've always been in contact with the how do you say that? The educational side of learning. When you go to school, they have a certain way in which you have to learn.
Right.
And if you start working, you automatically follow that way. But I think you guys take a different perspective on how you can learn and achieve goals, and actually that's quite a good thing. Also, with regard to personal development, for example, I've never done that in the past, and I think for now I'm reading. Well, I try to read 10 pages a day, but sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. There are lots of those little things that you can do to grow as a person.
Sure.
And if you look at financial literacy, I know practically nothing. Well, I know something right now, but I didn't know like anything at all. I had no economic background or whatsoever. So I think I have to do some catching up. In that area. So yeah, I try to read as much as possible regarding trading, but also regarding personal development. I set some health goals. Of course, I set some financial goals as well. I plan to be out of the debt by next year.
Very good.
So me and my girlfriend, we made a strict plan for that. And for me, personally, I want to save as much money as possible. So that also means cutting on how much you will spend in a month. I actually spend, I think I save more than 60% of my income every month.
Awesome.
I think that's quite a lot. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I've got 2 kids, so that doesn't happen. But no, that's great. And I think the important, like you just setting all those goals and doing all those things, the important process is every time you said one of the goals that you've had, you said, well, now I'm doing this to get there. And that's huge, because we can set goals and not do anything. You still got to come back and say, okay, what are the steps to achieve the goal? So you've got the big goals, right? The macro goals, you've got the micro goals, and then you've got all the itty bitty little tasks for the micro goals that allow you to complete them and get you closer to where you want to go. So I think that's awesome. I think you've got a great year ahead of you, coming 2020. That's really
Cool. Yeah.
really good. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I mean, I would like you to kind of share anything for anyone who's new, starting out, who might watch one of these at one time. Some advice, or anyone here who maybe just joined, for someone who's starting at least with tier 1 in relation to that. And then, of course, anything else you'd like to share with the group.
Yeah, sure. I think for me personally, I would like to share just a little bit more about my goals for next year.
Yeah, sure.
And that's because since it's an accountability session, and I think I need to be kept accountable.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really need that. So I will elaborate a little bit more about for my goals for 2020.
Sure.
For this year, I want to go through the course one more time. So I want to watch all the videos twice in total,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to start developing my trade plan. One of my goals, which I have accomplished actually right now, is doing an accountability session.
Very good. All right, check that one off the list.
Yeah, we can check that one right now. And maybe, I don't know, maybe start backtesting already a little bit. It's always hard to plan this stuff ahead, because I didn't really know how much time everything is going to take. But hopefully I can start a little bit backtesting this year, and otherwise it will be next year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So trading related, 2020 will be the year that I will backtest a lot. I will not trade.
Mm-hmm.
I will only backtest and optimize my trading plan. And also one of my personal goals would be to plan a trip around the world with my girlfriend.
Cool.
And we want to quit work for maybe half a year, five maybe 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to do that at the beginning of 2020. It's more that if you want to travel, then I think it would be easier if you don't have any kids.
Yes. The answer, emphatic yes.
Which we don't right now. So
there you go.
we will. I think we will. But so if we want to travel, it has to be somewhere soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be awesome if I was able to travel, but also able to trade while traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of the longer term goal that I have.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So those are my goals actually. You asked if I had any advice for future traders.
Yeah, anyone who's joining here, anyone who maybe just joined and is just kind of attending one of their first sessions, accountability sessions, and otherwise, yeah, any advice you'd have, what you did when you started. We know a little bit, but any advice that you'd give to someone who's starting with us or trading in general?
Yeah. Well, for trading in general, I think it's good to learn as much as possible. Please stop trading if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
I cannot.
It's on top of the list.
I know. I know some people have said it to me as well. But if you're listening to my story, I think it's best to just to stop trading if you're not consistently profitable yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be a first, and take your time. It's really process over outcome. If you're focused on earning money, you're not going to get there. So if you focus on the process, and if you fall in love with the process, then you have. I think you have a bigger chance to become consistently profitable in the future.
Awesome, very good. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Anything else you'd like to leave with the group here, Stefan, before you're done?
No, I think that's about it. I think I've said everything I wanted to say, and this has been really good for me.
Awesome.
Because I wanted to get myself accountable. It's making it harder for me to start and trade again if I would want to before I'm ready. So I think that's another milestone that's set now.
Good.
And I'm ready to kick some ass.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I know I appreciate it. Everyone here, I'm sure, appreciates you sharing with the group. And come back in, maybe 3 months' time, or maybe sometime next year, after a few months, or kind of see where you're at, or whenever you think that maybe you're struggling with something that you're trying to complete, or you've accomplished some goals. Those are always nice. Everyone likes to hear when people say, hey, I set this goal, back in October 2019, and now it's, March of 2020, and I did, X, Y, Z, or here's where I am on my path. Because everyone wants to hear, that people are progressing as well, as opposed to just
that
the
will
struggles.
be good actually, because today was not really about accomplishing goals for me. I haven't accomplished that much in trading, so
Right.
it would be good if I can talk about that as well in the near future. And I am planning. I haven't said that yet, but I'm planning to do an accountability session every 4 months. So it'll be
Okay.
3 times a year.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good.
Do my next one right after this session.
That way, when you come back each time, you have to have accomplished something. So it's another motivator to get things done and move forward.